Okay, hello again, and welcome to the end of day 12. So essentially what's been happening today all day has been Pipecat has just been kicking my ass. Pretty much. That's the story of the day. So this is just going to be a short update trying to cover what I did before I go to sleep. So some code optimization, cleanup actually, as well as some optimization. So there's a change in flow now. If leads aren't qualified, they'll redirect them to the contact page instead of the consultancy page as before. So they only get redirected to the consultancy page now if they ask for consultancy. And some more cleanup of the code here. I did add the ability in configuration to set the model that's used there. And I did temporarily change the default to GPT-4o Mini, but I changed that back later. So I did update the requirements because I actually reinstalled the dependencies again because, let me show you this. So Pipecat released a new version yesterday. So I'll show you this. Yeah, nice new version here. There is, through reading this, apparent support for the real-time beta and the transcription of the real-time beta, which is important because otherwise you lose that, and there's certain things where of course you need the transcription to operate on. Okay, so that's all good. Interesting, I did actually look for Google text-to-speech support because I'm not very happy, of course, with the voice I've got at the moment from DeepGram, but I'm just using it while I get the flow actually working, and then I'll sort out the voice. But yeah, the support for Google text-to-speech. And you can see that actually in right, yep, this one actually, in this commit, you can see that they updated this example with how to use it. So I'll just be copying that at some point. I did actually sign up for Google Voice as well today, so I'm supposed to manage that. Okay, so then, yeah, this is a little bug I fixed. So I was unregistering the helper when the bot leaves, but the issue with that is if you use the widget to start another call, a second call, you will have lost the helper. So it doesn't make sense to do that, so I remove that. And then this is where I checked in most of the code I was working in today, even though I'm not completely happy with this. So maybe we should just do an external diff here to make this a bit clearer. So that's a mistake, I need to put that back. So then also, let's see. So one of the things I was doing before is I had a different handler, a different transition handler for every navigation function, and I was calling it redirect. But the only difference between those functions actually is the path that's being redirected to. So I tried to merge those all into one function which takes the path, and that does actually seem to work remarkably, right? And I've still got different function handlers though. For each one, which I think actually I need to delete because I've just made one function handler now called navigate. Navigate, which is past a path. And I have still kept the 3 different create node functions because I am actually passing different paths in each of these, and it does need to say different things in each node depending on which path is navigated to. And the way is I've tried to get this to navigate to particular pages is by instructing it in the description and also creating an enum with just one value in there. Now, the reason I've done this part is that there's been times when I've been testing this in logs where the LLM is trying to call non-existent functions, and I don't see why it would do that unless there was some way of instructing it through this node to do so, or if it just hallucinated because of unclear descriptions in the node, which I did have before. And I have to read about how exactly this works in the Pipecat flows manager PY. So I'm going to have to read this. This is the thing that like processes all the transitions and all that. And I'm just going to have to give this a read and understand it and ask LLMs about it to explain it to me, probably, usual stuff. The other thing I did, though, is sort of try to make the handle handle function name, so the transition handlers, make the naming convention consistent with the function handlers. So previously, actually, it's an easier way to look at it is in here in the handlers. So you had collect name, handle name collection. That's not really a good convention. So collect name, handle collect name, identify service, handle identify service, rather than handle service identification. The reason this is good is if I want to rename all of these with a find and replace, I can just do it by replacing this part and everything will be consistent. So it makes refactoring easier, and also I think it's just clearer this way. Okay. That's pretty much it. I mean, maybe it's worth doing a little demo. So let's see if it does actually redirect to the right places, if I'm nice to it.
Hi there. This is Chris from John George Voice AI Solutions. May I know your name, please?
Yeah, it's John.
Great to meet you, John. Are you calling for a technical consultation, or are you interested in voice agent development? Let me know which one suits your needs.
Technical consultation.
Thank you so much for your time, John. I'll guide you to our booking page where you can set up a meeting to discuss your needs. Have an amazing day.
Great. It hangs up on me, which is what I wanted it to do.
Hey there. I'm Chris, your friendly voice AI agent from John George Voice AI Solutions. What's your name?
It's John.
Great to meet you, John. Are you interested in technical consultation or voice agent development? Let me know which.
Voice agent development.
Voice agent development involves creating and customizing voice-enabled AI solutions tailored to your specific needs, enhancing user interaction with smart technology. Sound like something you're interested in, or is technical consultation more up your alley?
So I'm interested in the development services, please.
Awesome choice, John. Could you share some details about your specific use case or requirements for the voice agent development?
Yeah, I need it to handle out-of-hours calls.
Got it. You'd like the voice agent to manage outbound calls. Anything specific you'd like it to achieve during these calls?
I want it to handle out-of-hours calls.
Thanks for clarifying, John. What's your timeline for this project? Do you have any specific deadlines or time constraints?
I'd like it done within a month.
What budget range did you have in mind for this project?
£5,000.
How's the interaction been for you so far, John? How's the latency, clarity, and naturalness?
It's okay.
Thanks so much for your time and input, John. I really appreciate it. Have a fantastic day.
Yeah. So that was a little clunkier than usual, actually, but that obviously demonstrates it needs to be fixed. It's determined that I'm qualified and taking me to discovery, but let's see if it can actually determine if I'm not qualified.
Hello. Thanks for calling John George Voice AI Solutions. I'm Chris, your voice AI agent for today. May I have your name, please?
Yep, name's John.
Great to meet you, John. Are you interested in our technical consultation services, or would you like to know more about voice agent development?
Voice agent development, please.
Thanks for choosing voice agent development, John. Could you tell me more about your specific use case or any particular requirements you have? The more details you provide, the
I need
better
it to handle out-of-hours calls.
That sounds like a helpful feature. Do you have a specific timeline or deadline in mind for this project?
Within a week.
What budget range did you have in mind for this project?
I was thinking a couple of bucks.
That might be a bit tight for this type of project. Can you give me a more specific budget range?
Say $200.
How has your experience been with our conversation so far? Specifically, are you satisfied with the latency, clarity, and naturalness of our interaction?
It could be worse.
Thanks for your feedback. Could you specify where you'd like to see improvements, perhaps in latency or clarity?
The voice could sound better.
Thanks so much for your time and feedback, John. I really appreciate it. If you need any more assistance, feel free to fill out the contact form to reach our team. Have a fantastic day.
Wow, okay, holy shit. I'm pretty surprised that actually worked. So the logic for the qualification actually is pretty simple at the moment in Flow. Yeah, right. So in the handle recording feedback during the transition, I basically pull all the fields that I've recorded in the state into variables and then just check whether they exist for most of them. And then the budget is really the only one that matters. The budget has to be over 1,000 in the integer specified there. And that's pretty much the only thing that switches it. So that actually worked. So I just need to figure out how exactly, whether I can merge these nodes somehow, and also tighten up the prompting and the actual stages once I understand how that all works. So yeah. Anyway, good night.